sheet that I created that's just for the 10th to the 11th edition correlation. The first column here is the question number that's in the 10th edition right now. So you'll see question, beside it is the learning objective number. So of course there's 36 questions in learning objective 1, and then it restarts at 1 again. So here's 28 questions in learning objective 2. And then I just added what type of question that they were. So here are the true, falses, the multiple choices. So the first thing I will go through is how you would record something that you had revised. So let's say you looked at question 3 and you thought there was something wrong in this. There was data that had changed. So what you would do is simply type in here and say data revised. Another one might be correction made or something to that effect. So we don't need a whole lot of details. What we really need to know is when you've changed something that that we can get the tech checker to double check for you. So if you, for instance, find question number 4, no changes at all, it's all fine, then you just leave that right there. Let's say if you find a question, let's say question 20, and you think absolutely does not work at all. So I'm going to delete it entirely. So let's say you're not replacing it with a new one, you're just deleting it entirely, which is going to mean one fewer question. So in this case, what I would do is you'll see that the question numbers, because you haven't deleted or added anything, or because I haven't, here, then all of these questions numbers are exactly the same. So I'm simply copying and pasting them into here. So question 19 in the 10th edition is the same as question 19 in the 11th edition. However, question 20, you deleted. That means there's no number here. So if this was the only thing that you changed in Learning Objective 1, then what you would want to do is you would start this numbering, so 20. So now question 21 from the 10th, the 10th edition is now question 20 in the 11th edition. And you could simply fill the series down to the bottom. Now, the importance of this grid is we need to know what we should get tech checked. And we also need to know, instructors ask us, for instance, if they have set up their tests for their course for the entire semester, and they're moving to a new edition, and you might have done this yourself. What you want to know is, how can I recreate the test? So I need to know what number in the 10th edition, what number it is now in the 11th edition. So this is why we do this correlation. And this is this is the amount of data that we need. You don't need to go into detail and say, I changed the name, or I changed, I removed a comma or anything like that. But if you changed data or anything that really is substantial to the meaning and the numbers used in that, then please mark it here. And that way we can get our accuracy checkers to check it after you're done. Okay, so that's sort of the easy part of it. Now I'm scrolling down to LO6 because this is the more complicated bit. It's actually an advantage that these questions are starting at 1 again for each learning objective, because that means you're not changing as many numbers since each of them start again at 1. So under LO6, in the 10th editions, questions 17 to 30 were these matching questions. And they're what we removed. So what you'd want to do here is say moved to new section, matching quiz all objectives, or whatever you end up calling it. And simply record that for all of these. So that's 17 to 30. And you'll have, let's say that you didn't change anything else. So your question numbers haven't changed here. But you've moved all of these. So what was 31 is now going to be question 17. So you see it goes from 16 to 17 because we've removed these. And then you would fill out the rest of these. And then this 17 to 30, I like cutting and pasting because it's a lot simpler. I would copy and paste it down here. And matching quiz all objectives is the new section. And we already have this filled in. And you would put, oops. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Oh my goodness. And you would moved from L06. That's just, I think that they'll figure that out, but it's nice to tell them anyway. And these would have, the TestGen application would have started these at 1 again. So, so these would be the new numbering in the 11th edition. Oops, I see that didn't copy and paste properly. So that's how you can record the changes. So hopefully now we figured out how to make those changes, and then this is how you would record them in the grid. The example grids that I sent you were just that. They're just examples on how the other author had set it up. So you can set it up. This is a bit simpler. If it's easier, then this is great. As long as we can tell where the questions have moved to in the 11th edition and which ones we can copy edit or have accuracy checked, then the grid is fine, as long as we can tell that. Another example might be, just as I think about it, is if you're adding a question, you insert a row and you still say this is LO1 and this is true false. It wouldn't have a number in the 10th edition because it's new. So let's say you added it here. So now it would be number 14, and you would just need to renumber these. And then this one would actually, ironically, start at 21 because you've added one. So those are what I hope are the 3 main things that you can do. Revise a question, in which case all you're doing is adding something in the action column. Deleting a question, which means recording where the numbers have moved to, and adding, which is also one that we need to know where the numbers have moved to. And then you've seen at the bottom how I think is a good way to deal with these matching questions to get them into a more proper place. Hope this helps, and we'll talk more. Thanks.